How you going, people? Well, a lot of people wanting this one. This is kind of a tough one because I think one cop gets killed. Let me see what. Remember to like the video. Man, YouTube unsubscribed me again. I've subscribed to police activity and they keep unsubscribing me. Freaking commie too. Okay, let's see. The body camera footage, murder of Sergeant Craig, attempted murder of the other officer from Tulsa Police Department, stopped after he failed to yield when pulling on a roadway. So these are road pirates out there trying to get their easy tickets. Made an illegal left turn. Operated vehicle with expired tags. Woo! All felony rolling. Woo! Good thing these cops stopped them, and now they're dead because they wanted to collect taxes, because they wanted to harass somebody. See, cops, I keep telling cops, man, you want to run around and just keep writing tickets and collecting taxes and harassing people and raising their insurance. Sooner or later, you're going to run into somebody that's going to fight back. And odds are, you aren't going to be ready. And these guys weren't ready, and that's why one of them died. But Rick, you're celebrating it. I ain't celebrating nothing. I'm telling you. This is what happens when government harasses everybody and there's not a lot of sympathy out there. So, let's see. Sergeant Craig, critically wounded, continues to recover. Gunman charge, murder. Accused driver, Matthew Hall, waived a preliminary hearing and is going to trial. Okay, so why did he waive a preliminary hearing? So let's talk about a little bit of that before we get into it. Well, let me give you a teaser on what's going to happen.
Ouch! You got him. What the fuck?
So you saw right there that shot that killed the guy.
What the fuck?
He got a gun, and he opens up on both of them. And now he turns the gun right here, and you see this shot right here, which could have been a fatal shot. So, why did he prolong, or why did he waive a preliminary hearing? Why would somebody do that? What is a preliminary hearing? Well, a preliminary hearing is basically kind of like a grand jury. Some states have what's called a preliminary hearing. California is one of them. And a prelim is basically to say, did a crime happen? And why do you have reasonable belief that the person you are charging committed that crime? So a preliminary hearing, though, sometimes will give the defense two bites at the apple. Sometimes they'll test the waters in front of the judge. Sometimes the defense attorney will show his hands on what his defense is. Sometimes the prosecution will show his hands. So when you waive a prelim, basically saying, look, I don't need to waste the court's time and to go in front that a crime was committed and that my client probably committed it. And when you have video evidence, look, there's no reason to do a prelim. We know, very easy. This is here's what the prelim would be basically. You'd show up to court and you'd call the officer and say, did you stop this car on this date? Yes. And were you in a police car? Yes. And were you performing official duties? Yes. And when you stopped guys, you ID him? Yes. And was his ID so-and-so? Yes. And is this the person you see in custody today? Yes. Okay, we'll show video footage of this person shooting. Is this the person that shot your officer? Yes. Okay. Your Honor, that's it. I mean, it would be a lot more in depth. It'd probably be 2 or 3 days of witnesses and officers and reports, and it's all a dog and pony show. But sometimes the defense attorney will be like, look, there's no point in that, especially if he's got a public defender. Public defender don't want to waste his time on a prelim. Be like, look, man, they're gonna hold you over. What happens at a prelim is the judge has to decide, okay, I believe that you're the person and I'm going to hold you over for trial, or I'm going to say, or set your bond. So that's kind of what, now there's a bail hearing to where the bail can hear, but the prelim is basically, are you going to get bond or whatever? When you're usually charged with murder, especially murder of a cop, you're not getting bond. So all that, they show the video and the judge is going to say, hold over for trial. He ain't getting released. He ain't getting bond. I believe there was a crime, and I believe you got the right guy, or I believe you have probable cause to believe. So now you have to prove it in court. So they're going to go straight trial. That's why he would waive the prelim. Now this is a kind of long drawn out. It's 10 minutes, but this guy is like begging and pleading and is a no person. And these cops, are just freaking tactically unsound. They have no physical skills to get this guy. They aren't using any type of proper things. They want to threaten taser and pepper spray, and they end up, I think, using both. And when they're not effective, because we're hiring people now, mainly women, and they can't fight or defend themselves, they can't help other cops or defend themselves, they can't take bad people into custody, so they rely on their tools, their taser and pepper spray and gun. So when you do that, you set yourself up, you set government up to where they're going to have to use deadly force and higher force. Because when the taser and pepper spray doesn't work, when the Batman tools don't work, you're only left with physical confrontation. You have to overcome the guy physically through training, through technique, through size, through strength, through ability, whatever. And they used to hire cops that way. Now, male cops have to do 20 push-ups and female cops only have to do 5, and they can put their knees up and they can take a breath in between each one. And then they hire them to make the same money because they're just as equal. So that's the problem with lowering the standard. These cops, the standard has been low for so long and we're hiring so many inept people. When the tools don't work, they can't overcome the guy physically. They have no fighting skills. They have no ability to stop somebody who wants to physically resist. And what does that mean? That either means they shoot and kill them, or they get shot and killed. In this case, they get shot and killed.
Tag 60 days, over 60 days expired.
Okay.
So I'm going westbound on 21st. And that light right over there.
Yeah.
So, guy's not a threat. We have 2 officers, 2 trained officers. Actually, the guy he's talking to is a supervisor. On the side of a highway, big stop of the night. Woo! Didn't use a turn signal, and his plates are expired. Woohoo! Yep. So, these cops are in the mindset, this is just another pesky citizen. I'm going to write him a ticket. He'll have to go to court. He'll lose. Maybe I'll get to tow his car. I can justify my job. I'll get the sergeant off my back. Everybody will feel safe and think cops are needed and we're all heroes. That's the mindset of these cops. This is another pesky citizen that we're going to write a ticket. And I'm telling you, that's why they got killed. Rick, you can't talk about a dead guy because it's not fair and you weren't there and you don't. I'm telling you, had they been tactically sound, had they been watching this guy and no guy, had they been watching him wanting to get back in that car and not get out of the car, he's protecting drugs or guns. His whole body behavior and everything he's doing is screaming, I don't want to get out of this car and I don't want you towing the car because if you do, it's going to go bad. And it's going to go bad because I either have drugs and I'm going to prison for a long time or I have a gun I'm not supposed to have and I'm going to go to prison for a long time. So my only option when I have nothing to lose, or when I have nothing to lose, if you're going to take me to jail and tow my car, my best chance is to try to get away. And I just might get away.
I have to recall. He comes flying down and just runs it and turned right in front of me. I had to slam on my brakes. I'm like,
Right.
what the fuck, you know?
No driver's license.
Wow, what the fuck, man? He's speeding on the highway. Who speeds? Only us cops can do that with our lights and siren, and we can drive like maniacs because we're the government, we're protected, and we have no responsibility. But you pesky citizens, how dare you?
License, anything like that? Or?
He didn't have a license on him. He has no insurance on the vehicle. And
His tags are overdue.
And he's through.
See, these guys are back here having a conversation. I mean, dude, handle the call. Either write him or get on or let him go or do. If he doesn't have, get his license, get him out. Do what you're going to do. What's all this big, long briefing? I'll tell you what it is. Complacency. It's lackadaisical. There's no threat. We're the police. The blue line. We have blue lights. We got blue uniforms. We got the blue line protecting us. We don't have to worry. The courts will protect us. The DA will protect us. Pesky citizens can't talk back to us. We'll charge them with resisting. This is the mindset of cops, and it's not tactical and it's not survival.
Criminal.
Okay.
So I'm going to search the car too.
Okay.
Got narcotics and everything on it.
All right.
All right, now I don't know.
No, I know. You went on the traces screen.
Yeah.
Just one person in the car.
Yep. All right, David. You said you have a driver's license? You said you have a driver's license?
Yes, I just used
Okay.
it
Well, here's the
because
deal,
I
man.
had
Here's the deal.
Just won jackpot, so they have.
So if you look in a car, the glove box been open. He's been going through things. The car's a little messy. Who thinks that these two cops, when they were back there having their donut powwow at the OK Corral, sitting behind a water hole telling stories about speed and everything, who thinks they were watching this guy? Who thinks one of them could have saw him hide something, move a gun to a strategic position, put a gun under the seat, take it? Who thinks they know what this guy was doing when they were back there? Raise your hand. If you think they know what he was doing, you're an idiot, because they were not paying attention to him. They were too damn far. I mean, it was a long distance where these guys, I mean, they're way back behind this car, and they got lights here, and they're not watching. They're talking to each other and looking at each other. They have no idea what this guy was doing at this car. And you know what? Complacency, lackadaisical. Rick, you're just picking on cops because you hate them, and it's not fair, and whatever. You freak crybaby.
Here's the deal.
Just won jackpot, so they had my license.
Yeah, but I'm not.
So the guy is, to me, talking almost like he's under the influence. He's kind of scatterbrained. I don't know if he's mentally issues, or if he's under the influence, or if he's just kind of that way. But he's not talking in a rational manner to me. He's talking about a jackpot. I know I have my license because I use it for a jackpot. And so this guy is really coming off as zero threat. But you can't, look, you got to be suspicious when there's nothing to be suspicious about. You got to have your hand on your gun. You got to quit relying on the tools that never work. I know if you go to Greenskeen Ass Boy, he'll tell you how great pepper spray is and how great the taser is and how much law he knows, even though he's never been to court and never carried a gun in his life. I'm telling you, people, when you rely on tools that notoriously do not work, I mean, it's just crazy how many times the taser and pepper spray never works. And when you rely on those tools and that's your only thing to rely on, you're going to lose and you're going to get over your head. Of course, anybody that's trying to tell you how great pepper spray and taser are, I guarantee you, they've never used it, especially used it on an ongoing basis, or been around where it's been used and it's been failed. Or they would not be telling you how great it is. I mean, we call that a clue, but you know what? AF has millions of subscribers and I got freaking 100, whatever. Just goes to show what the voting public is. Who the hell's voting out there?
I'm not worried about the jackpot right now. So what I need you to do is step out of the vehicle.
What?
Okay, everything changes in this guy's behavior right here. I mean, his whole demeanor changes when you want him out of the vehicle. You need to step out of the vehicle. I mean, I can almost see the tenseness in his body change. He's relaxed, and watch when he asks him to get out of this vehicle, his behavior.
So just won jackpot, so they had my license.
Yeah, but I'm not worried about the jackpot right now. So what I need you to do is step out of the vehicle.
Boom. This stare, this pause, this thinking, oh shit, I got a gun in here. If I step out, they're going to find it. That's what's happening. Rick, you don't know that. Whatever. Shut up.
What?
Idiots.
Well, first let me ask you one more time. Do you have anything in the vehicle? I need to know.
Why are you shining that in my face?
Okay, so now we're talking about getting out of the car. First, we're talking about the winning the grand prize, whatever he won. Then we're talking about get out of the car. Why? And now we're going to change the subject to the lights in my eyes. So the cop, I think, picked up something because he stopped and said, wait a minute, I'm going to ask you again, is there anything in the car? So I think the cop, and when I taught people about tactics and all the things that I would teach over the year, you've got to go, every instructor will teach that, not just me. Every instructor that's been around will tell you, go with your gut. The Supreme Court ruled that gut instincts do not matter and you can't use it in court. So a lot of cops think that I have to ignore it. That I don't care if I can use it in court. Your gut, your survival instincts, your subliminal, what you're picking up as clues to danger, will save you. The hairs on the back of your neck stand up. You get an uneasy feeling. You think something's up. That's called a gut feeling. A lot of cops used to testify and put that in court. I had a gut feeling something was up. And then they would catch the guy in the courts and go, gut feeling isn't scientific. You can't use that. It's no good. It's not admissible in court. I don't care if it's admissible. Go with your gut. If something seems wrong, feels wrong, doesn't seem right, just makes you uneasy, pay attention. Your things that you don't even know is picking up clues that you may not consciously pick up. This cop, I think, knew, because he immediately changed to get out of the car to, let me ask this guy again here, because I think something's in here. The cop, I think, knew.
One more time. Do you have anything in the vehicle? I need to know.
Why are you shining that in my face? I can't.
So I can
I'm
see
trying
in
to
the car.
talk to you, but you're shining that light.
Okay, so now the guy went from, I've got a license, I got insurance, I want a thing, to very cooperative, to has soon, and I'm telling you, this is key. His whole behavior and demeanor changed when you went out of the car. When somebody don't want to get out of the car, dude, I mean, my gun's almost, again, I didn't carry a taser a lot, and I never pulled my pepper spray, and I didn't like all that bullshit. It was either hands-on or a gun, or my baton, but, I mean, I wouldn't pull my baton when I have no leverage. My baton was pulled out if I was in a group or a crowd and I could really maneuver and do it. I didn't use my baton a whole bunch when they were in the car. It's hard to get in there. It's something in your hands. It's just hands-on. So, to me, as a cop, it ought to be primary, ought to be hands-on. Well, obviously, you want to start out low, verbal, command, and then it's screw the pepper spray and taser. It just doesn't work enough. If you have time, if you have numbers, it's easier and you can use it. And if it fails, it's not a big deal, then go ahead and use it. But 9 times out of 10, look, put your hands on a guy. As soon as you put a hand on this guy, you're going to feel his stiffness, his sweatiness, his heart rate. You want to get control, get some sort of lock, wrist lock, arm bar, get something on this guy, because he ain't getting out of this car. And you're going to see it, how hard he don't want to get out of this car.
Do you have anything in the vehicle? Because you've got a history of narcotics.
I know, and y'all always fuck with me just because I.
You notice he did not answer whether it has anything in the vehicle. I think that's like the third time he asked him. He never answered it. When people don't want to answer it, it's kind of like putting your hands over your ears and over your eyes. I don't want to hear no evil. I don't want to speak any evil. I just don't want to talk about that. So when somebody doesn't answer direct questions, or they start asking you questions, or they try to deflect you, that is a clue. You already know, or you should know, the answer to your question and the reason he doesn't want to give it to you.
I have a history. Can I get my ticket and fucking go, man?
So now he's kind of in the guy's face. Before it was very cool. When you want me out of the car, now I have to fight. These are all just huge clues that these cops should have been escalating this call and thinking, you know what? This is not a speeding stop. There's more going on here. And now the guy even said, you got a history of narcotics. Well, narcotics and guns go together. If he's got a history of narcotics, again, it raises the level of this call, and these cops, in my mind, are not adjusting their call. They're still handling this as a ticket and a simple resisting arrest.
Well,
Dude, I know my fucking rights, dude. Can I just get my ticket and go, dude? I pulled in front of him. I'm sorry.
Hey, David.
I'm just trying to go to
David.
my house, man.
David.
I got people waiting on me, dude.
David.
Lots of excuses, lots of reasons why he doesn't want to get out of the car. He's just trying to go about his business. He wants to go home. Now he wants a ticket. Just give my ticket and let me go. I got some place to be. People are waiting for me. Lots of excuses. Look, in his mind, I've got to pull out everything so they don't get me out of this car. They're going to find my gun or dope.
Here's what's going to
I
happen.
don't have a history of narcotics, would you fucking say? That's bullshit.
So now he's saying he don't have a history. A few minutes ago, he says, you guys always harass me because of my history. Inconsistent statements. These are all cues.
Paraphernalia, narcotics, whatever it is. You got a history.
Oh
of
my
it.
god,
You're on
that got
The charge
dropped.
getting sold.
That got dropped.
Okay,
I'm not convicted. Well, you can't.
hang on.
You
Step,
can't take bullshit. Don't fucking open my door.
Come on, charges.
David, step out of the vehicle. Come on.
This cop has his flashlight in his gun hand. When I see cops do that, and this is a sergeant, I always think, in experience, hasn't been on a lot of hot calls. Keep that freaking gun hand empty, especially when you don't have control suspect and he's got control. This guy has what I call home court advantage. When suspects have home court advantage, You've got to be extra careful. You can't allow home court advantage. They haven't searched the car. They didn't watch the car. They don't know if he has a gun. They weren't even watching him. They don't even know what the hell he's doing. They were back there talking, ignoring him, treating him like a speeding ticket. Now they know. Now you're finding out that he has narcotics. Now he's saying he don't want to get out of the car. Well, Rick, he didn't say he didn't want to get out. He said he did not want to get out of this car. He said it in his body, his actions, his questions. He is screaming that this car is my home turf and I don't want to give it up. This is my castle. We're going to have a fight if you try to take me out of this car. This is my area. I'm not getting out. And he said it, and these cops are still wanting to threaten. And this sergeant here, the one that gets killed, is very quick to threaten, go to his taser. I'm going to tase you. He ends up tasing him. Goes to his pepper spray. I'm going to pepper spray. He's got all the tools and all the answers. Oh, did I mention he's dead now? But Rick, you're picking on him after the fact, and it's not fair, and you can't talk about him. And I'm telling you, people, if I go out there and do something stupid and you want to do a video later and say this is how Rick died, knock yourself out. I don't care. I don't need any freaking badge polishing donut heroes out there trying to protect my honor. This cop, neither of these cops took this guy serious enough, and that's why one of them's dead.
This is bullshit, dude.
It's not. You wouldn't be here if you didn't pull out in front of a cop.
Touching the hands, touching the head. This guy is not listening. He's planning. He's trying to figure out what my next step is. What are my alternatives? This is called lag time, and he's buying lag time. Cops, we teach lag time is the time it takes you to perceive a threat, determine options on how to deal with that threat, and then start acting toward that threat. I.e., I see a suspect. I think he might be armed, but I'm not sure. Can I draw my gun? There's a lot of people in there. I don't want to draw my gun. You're doing options. Now I see him gun. Now he's reaching for the gun. Now I have to go for my gun and shoot. That's lag time, is all that decision process that goes on between recognizing a threat and then enacting an action to deal with that threat. This guy, this crook, is experiencing lag time right now, and he's trying to increase his lag time by delaying, stalling, answering questions, coming up with reasons to get out of the car, because he's developing a plan of action on what are my options. Can I run? Should I just run? There's two of them. They've got tasers. He's blocking my door. Do I have to shoot it out? I just need to stay in a vehicle. If I can stay in a vehicle, I can get it and drive. Maybe I can just get the keys and start it up. Maybe I can call somebody and get some assistance. This guy is all in planning stages, and these cops are allowing him to control this whole scene.
Cop car while I got a green light, dude.
I pulled out.
So now this cop wants to argue about the violations on the side of the road with the door open on the side of traffic in the middle of the night. He wants to argue about, well, I had a green light and you ran it, and you had a green light, and no, you did do it. And don't get into that shit. You've lawfully got him detained. You've asked him to get out of the car. Get his ass out of the car. Stay focused. Don't let suspect distract from you. It goes against your ability to win the longer you give him time to think, plan, organize, and set your ass up.
In front of you, I had plenty of fucking room. This
Step
is
out of the car.
bullshit.
Step out of the car.
I'm not stepping out of the car.
Man, step out of the car. I think he's told him 6 or 8 times now. And the guy has flat out told him, I ain't stepping out. Notice the bracing on the steering wheel. This is a big cue. When I see guys grab their steering wheel, they're getting tense. They want to grab onto something. This is all body behavior cues that you pick up over time, and that his gut is probably seeing, but he's not recognizing it.
Step out of the car.
I am not. You better call your supervisor or something. Y'all are...
Okay, the old supervisor rule. Stalling, delaying, giving me time to plan my next course of action. I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to get this gun and kill you guys. Rick, they didn't know that. You can't say that. It doesn't matter. You have to have the mindset of, look, dude, I ain't playing with you on the side of this freaking highway. I've given you a lawful order. I'm taking you. Rick, you're always talking about police brutality, and now you're wishy-washy. I'm not wishy-washy. If you have the right to do something and you do it correctly, I got no problem with it. It's when you do it and you don't need to do it and you don't have to do it, etc. Now, somebody's going to say, well, these cops are doing good because they're taking time, and they're trying to convince him, and they're using all the steps, and they don't want to get charged with use of force. You know what? I never let worrying about getting charged or sued affect my survival. And maybe that's why I'm still here.
I'm right here. I'm the sergeant.
Dude,
He's asking you to step out of the car.
Okay, so now the cover officer, the sergeant, who is supposed to be cover, he's not supposed to get involved, he got frustrated with the other officer getting manipulated and couldn't get the guy out, and inexperienced, whatever it is. So now the sergeant is like, you know what, I better take over this call. So now the sergeant becomes contact.
I'm not stepping out of my car.
Wow, this guy seems pretty adamant. I wonder who's going to win. I wonder who thinks they know how, who thinks that in the history of law enforcement, a guy said, I ain't getting out of the car, and he was able to drive away. I don't even think you can find a crook that thinks that. So why is he saying it? Because he's planning. Because he's stalling so he can take his next course of action.
You have two choices. You can step out under your own power, or...
This is bullshit, dude. I just got this car.
Okay.
Why can't you give
Was
me
that a taser?
chance?
Or...
What's he got in his hand? Is that a taser or is that a pad? He's got a flashlight in one hand and he's got, it looks like paper in the other hand. Maybe that's a taser.
This is bullshit, dude. I just got this car.
Okay.
Why can't you give me a fucking chance, dude? Like, fuck.
Well, why don't you...
So now he wants a chance. Now he when he's figured out that no, I ain't getting out of the car didn't work and not arguing and you guys are fucking with me and get the light out, now he has changed back to give me a chance. I'm a victim. And this guy is pretty damn good. I gotta admit, man, he plays like he's not a threat pretty damn good.
You step out of the car and let us talk about it instead of sitting here...
I know my rights. I know.
Okay,
how this
right
works.
now...
Y'all are gonna fucking. I know how this works.
Here's the deal. Right now, you're driving a car that's over 60 days due on the tag.
I'll get a tag.
You don't have insurance.
I do have insurance.
Where is it?
Does that matter? So now he's got the sergeant worried about insurance. They've left him alone in the car for 10 minutes while they were talking about who has the best donuts in the back of the car without watching the guy. So they don't know what he's doing. Now he's like, I do have insurance. And now we're going to argue about it and try to find it. He's already told you no. You've already got authority to tow his car. You've got authority to arrest him. He doesn't have a driver's license. The car's 6 months expired. Get his ass out of the car. I would have no problem right now if the other cop snatched him right now and pulled him out backwards out of this car. This guy needs to come out of this freaking car, and I ain't sitting around debating it on the highway for 20 minutes like these cops. I just wouldn't do that. You can call me a bootleg, jackhammer, whatever cop you want, but you didn't get away with this long things. You got away with a little bit, and I tried to reason with you, but at the point I figured out it was useless, it was go time.
Man.
But, man...
Y'all can look it up. Y'all can look it up.
We can't...
You can look it up. It's okay. You can, and a lot of people say that. Look, dude, you're supposed to have it in the car. You don't have it. We've already told you. We're not going back and forth. They say this is your last warning, I think 10 or 15 times.
And if you haven't got a tag, but we need you to step out of the car.
Now.
You have two choices. You can step out of the car,
Or I can drag you out.
or we can tase you.
So the other cop says I can drag you out. Then the sergeant says, or I can tase you. He wants to use his bat toys.
What?
They're not
This is
complying and getting out of the
y'all
car
are
where we
breaking.
at.
Look, hey,
Y'all are.
step out of the car.
Man, y'all are
now!
This.
Okay, so that little shock you just heard, somebody said, did he tase him? He didn't actually shoot the darts. Now, I don't know how he created that. I forgot. I mean, it's been so long since I had a taser in my hand, and I probably had first generation of tasers, so now they're probably all fancy. I didn't think you could just make it dry tase when you had it chambered with a dart. I thought when you pulled it, it would go, but maybe there's a way to... So obviously there is. So he made the sound kind of like threatening. This is called escalation of force. He saw that, look, arguing with this guy, talking to him, ordering him didn't work. Now we're going to threaten him, and I'm going to let him know my threat's serious. I'm okay with this escalation. I still think it's too damn long. Shit, I'm at 30 minutes. I got to make a part 2 on this, guys. There's so much going on here on when these guys get shot, and I want this to be a learning. I mean, look, there's going to be some idiot here. I could just come here, show you the money shot. Wow, these cops got killed. These cops are wrong, and they should have done better, and then end it at that. But that's not a teaching moment. That's not an education moment. I'm trying to point out things from my experience on the field for years and teaching and training this shit on how these cops failed and what you need to look for and watch for. So because it's an educational experience, I need to take some time. So this is 30 minutes. I want to make a part 2. If you don't like it, then freaking leave. Quit crying in the comments like a damn freaking pink panty, whatever. All right.